To expand on this, we're joined now by the Department of Basic Education's Chief Director for Curriculum and Implementation Monitoring, Dr. Moses Simelane. A very good evening to you, Dr. Simelane. Thank you so much for your time. You're piloting this standardized qualification for learners completing grade 9. What motivated your department to even make this concept an option?
Good evening, Paul, and thank you very much for having us, and good evening to your viewers. Just to kickstart the purpose as to why we introduced the General Education Certificate, firstly, it is to provide a measure, a standardized measure that will recognize learners' achievements at the end of the compulsory schooling. That is at the end of the grade 9 year, for starters. And what we need to, what needs to be mentioned is how the qualification is going to be assessed for, so that we get a clear understanding and a deeper understanding of the actual purpose for the General Education Certificate. One, the assessment is basically going to be on knowledge and skills, as it has always been the case with every examination or assessment task. But secondly, the qualification will also look at assessing learners' competencies. So if we talk about competencies, it will be a demonstration of what learners can do with the knowledge and skills that they have acquired. So that is the second component that will be assessed. The third component will be assessing inclination. In this case, we are looking at learners' interests, aptitudes, and abilities. So to assess learners' inclination will assist teachers to provide career guidance of learners who have completed grade 9, so that as they move to grade 10, which is where the diversification of the curriculum into the 3 streams begins, it's going to be that's how the assessment and the performance of learners in their inclination assessment is going to assist, so that learners are channeled into a stream that is appropriate and is relevant to their interests, aptitudes, and abilities. Therefore, it cannot be seen as an exit qualification, but it is an access qualification, because it will provide informed access to learners to access any of the 3 streams, that is the academic stream, or the vocational stream, or the occupational stream.
Should they opt for the academic stream, are you talking about them going to grade 10, or are there other options that you're speaking about here? Because we're essentially talking about 15-year-olds who would be perceived to be given an exit certificate. I know you've just clarified to say that it isn't, but what sort of stream are you talking about when you refer to the academic stream?
The academic stream is the stream that we always had as a Department of Education. Our curriculum has largely been academic. In fact, about 90% or even above 90% of schools in basic education are offering an academic curriculum. But since 2016, 2017, we started conceptualizing the addition and the diversification of learning pathways to add over the academic pathway that has always been offered. So it's going to be the general or academic or theoretical learning pathway. But in addition, we are introducing the 2 additional streams, the vocational as well as the occupational one.
What kind of currency or weight does this qualification carry? How can a 15-year-old explore the range of possibilities that exist in the world of work?
Well, Firstly, I must indicate that this qualification, as with the National Senior Certificate, will also be quality assured by Umalusi, who is the quality assurer of qualifications from NQF level 1, which is where the GEC is at, to NQF level 4, which is the National Senior Certificate. I must also hasten to indicate that we've been working closely with Umalusi in developing this qualification, as we have even started piloting from 2022. And the pilot started when Umalusi provided DPE with a provisional approval of the GEC. And then we started with piloting it from 2022. And the last pilot will be in 2024 this year, because according to our plan, we have to introduce and roll out the qualification from 2025.
Yeah.
So that's the currency, that is the credibility that is given to the qualification, the fact that it is quality assured by Umalusi as well. And therefore it can stand any test of time, whether learners exit and go to, which we don't encourage though, after grade 9, we encourage our learners to stay in school, or after completing grade 9, we've been working very closely with the TVET college sector so that our learners who want to deviate from schooling and want to pursue studies in vocational and occupational skills can also move to TVET colleges and start from NQF level 2 up to wherever they intend going.
Now, the choices that you speak of are all well and good, but can this GEC effectively prepare learners for the real world of problem-solving, practical skills that are needed for the 21st century workforce? More so if we consider matters like artificial intelligence, for instance.
Definitely. As I've indicated, we are not going to be assessing learners simply on knowledge and skills, but we are also going to assess them on competencies in terms of what they can do with the knowledge and skills that they have acquired. For instance, talking about artificial intelligence, we have also introduced as basic education coding and robotics to prepare our learners for the 21st century skills. But there is also a myriad of skills that are coming with the 3-stream model, which are going to prepare learners for the world of work. For instance, the occupational stream, its main purpose is to prepare young people for the world of work. For instance, even after completing grade 12, those who may have opted for the occupational stream or the occupational learning pathway will be able to, if they choose to, can even after completing grade 12, go to the world of work and can even be brought into the world of work as assistant artisans, after which they can get into opportunities such as learnerships that are provided by SETAs and other higher education institutions.
What is your sense, Dr. Simelane, of the impact on the South African schooling education system? Surely it must have been a difficult debate, because the aspiration is for everyone to make it to grade 12. And more so, just adding to that, is this GEC targeted at a specific group of children?
Let me start with your last question. Yes. The GEC is actually offered to every learner who will be completing grade 9. It's not focusing specifically at a specific population of learners. It's for all learners in the basic education system. That is for starters. But again, the problem and the challenges that we have seen in the past, in part, have been that we have, in the past few years, we have seen the growing we have seen a sort of a slight growth in dropout rate, but not exceeding between 12 and 15%, and that is from research. So the 40%, which was actually captured in the article, is somehow misinformed because it misses out on learners who have always deviated after grade 9 and went to TVET colleges to study towards skills.
Very
and
well.
Those have not been captured and accounted for. Yeah.
Very well. We're going to have to leave it there for now. But perhaps before I let you go, what I was getting to when I asked you whether or not you specifically targeting a group of learners who may feel that they cannot cope with conventional schooling and now opting for other options, or it's been put forward, argued that you're probably trying to ensure that you get a better matric pass rate by kicking out those who are not coping with conventional schooling.
It's definitely not for purposes of, improving the pass rate. I mean, the pass rate has been growing phenomenally over recent years. It's basically to give each and every learner an opportunity to choose an option or a career pathway that is suited to their interests and aptitudes. That's the bottom line. And I must add as well that there is a possibility of even our future National Senior Certificate to be a specialized one. What do I mean by that? That we would have a National Senior Certificate academic, a National Senior Certificate vocational, and a National Senior Certificate occupational. And therefore, we'll be talking about a parity of esteem in those 3 learning pathways introduced by the 3-stream model.
Very well. Let me thank you for your time, Dr. Moses Simelane, who is the Department of Basic Education's Chief Director for Curriculum and Implementation Monitoring.